Good morning, world, and welcome to Talk, a production of Lion of Judah Ministries Radio, K-Roar. K-Roar, the radio station that you can listen to at www.kroar.org. www.kroar.org. Feel free to go over there when you have a chance and see what it's all about. So welcome. We hope you're having a great day no matter where you are. Here in the beautiful Philippines, it's October 29th. Thursday, October 29th. We're getting close to Election Day in the United States, and there's lots of tension over there, and we'll get to that in a little while. But the U.S. Needs prayer. It needs lots of prayer, Lord. And we ask you to lay your hand on that great country, our sister country. Speaking of which, why don't we pray right now? Father, Abba, we love you. We worship you. We praise you. We know that no matter what's going on, you are in control. We know that whatever is happening is for the glory of you and your kingdom. Though we do ask for protections from whatever the evil one may be trying to sling upon us, whether we're here in the Philippines or in the United States. But the bottom line is that we know we are protected. We love you, Lord. We love you so much. I ask that you pray a hedge of protection around the United States for any violence, for any cheating, for anything that may take away from this election. I ask that, again, we know that you know already who won. So we ask that whatever happens, it's done in a clean way, without cheating, without having to use false pretenses, and that the outcome is accepted by all, as it was when President Obama was elected right before President Trump. Lord, I ask for clarity. I ask for soundness of mind as people go to the polls. I ask them to look with your clarity at the facts, and based on that information, make the decision led by you. We know that President Trump is a believer, and we know that he is being guided by you and his staff of pastors. We ask that you give them clarity, and that you give them the strength and the power to get your message through to him. He's a baby Christian, Lord, but he needs guidance, and he needs wisdom at this time. Lord, I ask for today that you bless the show, that you give me anointing through your hand to deliver what it is that you need to have delivered today through talk. I ask that you bless each and every one of our listeners, no matter where they are in the world, and whether they're listening right at this moment or they will be joining us a little later during the broadcast, or if they're listening to a recorded version, which is available of this show. Lord, again, we love you. We love you. We love you. We know you love us. We know you love us as well. And I ask, Lord, that you continue to guide us where you need us to be. I pray all of these things in your holy and precious name forevermore. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. All righty. Now, that's enough of www.kroar.org. The other thing that we do every morning is remind you that if you want to take part in our show, and we continue to look for people, haven't had a lot of response, which was surprising, but it's okay. It's God's will. But we ask that you drop us an email at Lion of Judah Radio at kroar.org. That's Lion of Judah Radio at kroar.org. And tell us what it is you'd like to share, whether it's a hobby, whether it's something about financing, whether it's about your family, whether you want to talk about a news story, whether you just want to talk with me, and we can set you up as a guest co-host for the day. You want to share a story about your life, similar to my autobiography. It's entirely up to you, but in order to make it happen, you need to write us at Lion of Judah Radio at kroar.org and let us know. Let us know. We'll peruse it. And if you get picked, we will put you on the air right here on KROAR. So we hope that you will take advantage of that in the not too distant future. Alrighty. So that being said, did you notice that's my new catchphrase? That being said, and I don't know where that came from. I never used to say it. So we will try to cut down on that. One other thing. I usually do it at the end of the show, but I will do it now. We usually challenge you to go to John 3:16, and we'll do this again at the end of the show, but I want to give you a little time to go to John 3:16 and read about the love of God for us and the love of Jesus and what God did for us so very long ago. It's John 3:16, but a number of you may not even own a Bible or even know where to get one. Well, the solution is this website, www.bible.com. This is a Bible that I use personally online, and it is just fabulous. There are any number of a couple hundred different translations of the Bible available to you. There are different concordances and different references and encouragements. They give you small devotions that you can do for 5 days, or you can do an entire reading of the Bible, which is what I like to do, in a year. And it's amazing. I've done it 3 times already, and it's amazing. Each time I read it, I find something else new. The book is like nothing else here on earth, and we know that it is derived directly from the breath of God, and because of that, we call it the Holy Bible. And I just encourage you to take a look. It doesn't cost anything, and I guarantee you it's going to be a application that stays at the top of your user list. It's www.bible.com. They're a non-profit organization, and they've had so many of these Bibles released to the world. They'll show you. They have a counter up, and it's like I can't even remember, like 200, 300, 400 million, something like that. I'm not even going to quote it, but if you go, you'll see. And prayers are being answered. The gospel message is being spread throughout the United States. So, simple request: load up Bible.com, look up John 13, and see for yourself. God loves you, and He wants to wrap His arms around you and just love you, just hold you close. All righty. God bless. All righty. I think we got all of our business out of the way. The only other thing I did want to add, we are also available on Twitter. And if you'd like to leave us a live message or pick up a recording of this show, as well as on Facebook and on YouTube, you can get it on Twitter. On our Twitter feed, it's right at the very top. It's pinned to the top for the day. So if you want to get it fairly quickly, Go to at KRoar Radio, just the way it's typed there. At capital K Roar, capital R ADIO. At KRoar Radio, and that'll take you to the Twitter feed. So hopefully that'll be helpful to you also. But again, feel free to be in touch with us. We get lonely. It would be nice to hear from you. All righty, let's get to the news. And hopefully we don't get slammed like we did yesterday. All right, the headline today at foxnews.com is, excuse me, Philadelphia District Attorney warns Trump, "I've got something for you," after president's call for poll watchers in the city. And that's in the city of Philadelphia. And it makes you wonder what's going on. Usually when people are doing things they're not supposed to be doing, they will hide in the shadows. And that's not good. So anyway, Philadelphia DA threatens Trump over president's call for poll watchers. "I've got something for you." Krasner's statement, that's the DA, district attorney, comes as Philadelphia reels from a night of violent protests over the police shooting of a 27-year-old black man. Philadelphia District Attorney on Wednesday threatened President Donald Trump if he sent uncertified poll watchers to the city, telling him in a statement, "I've got something for you if any attempts are made to interfere with Election Day activities." In a fiery statement posted on his website, District Attorney Larry Krasner likened Trump to a lawless, power-hungry despot and vowed that the Philippines, I get the Philippines on my mind, and vowed that Philadelphians will not be cowed. Now, for those of you that don't know, a despot is a dictator. And so he's calling President Trump a power-hungry dictator. Well, I have to disagree. The statement followed Trump's response to a night of looting in Philadelphia over the police shooting of a black man who police claimed was charging at them with a knife. President Trump called the shooting a terrible event, but turned the attention on his Democratic rival, Joe Biden, whom he accused of supporting the looters and rioters. Krasner said that Trump's administration supposedly poses the greatest danger to public health and safety in modern history. I'm going to take the fifth on that one. I don't believe that. As proof, he pointed to the more than 227,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19. Now, people need to realize it's not the president. COVID-19 is a virus with a mind of its own. And people make choices. They try to not follow the protocols that were laid before them because they feel it's a breach of their freedoms, which I understand. But if you go out with a mask and you go and party with people without masks, you are putting yourself in danger. I've personally lost dear friends to COVID-19, and I pray these people smarten up. It's as simple as putting a piece of fabric, a mask, and a plastic shield. 50 cents for a plastic shield. And that's what's needed. It's not Trump. His statement comes less than a week before the November election, for which Pennsylvania has become a hotly contested presidential battleground state. Okay, we can agree to that. The Trump campaign said late last month it was preparing a lawsuit against the Office of the Philadelphia Commissioners over their alleged refusal to admit poll watchers into satellite offices to observe the voting process. To the extent that your office prohibits the campaign from monitoring the casting of ballots, the campaign will seek court intervention. A letter from an attorney representing the campaign read. And this is all, again, from Fox News. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro said he would not let the president interfere with the will of the people, while characterizing the president as a bad actor. It will be respected whether Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania or Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania. Shapiro said of the state's election results, "We need to drown out the president's rhetoric and ignore the doubt that he is trying to sow about this election and make a plan to vote today. Whether you choose to vote by mail, you choose to vote at an election satellite center early, or whether you choose to vote on election day." Now, just as a sidebar, as you know, I am living as an expatriate in the Philippines. I'm an American citizen. I will always be an American citizen. Very soon I will be a resident, not a citizen, but a resident of the Philippines, which will give me a number of benefits available to me, especially since I am now a senior citizen at age 61. I forgot what I was going to say here. My point. So people say, well, what interest do you have, and can you vote? Yes, in fact, I just voted 2 days ago. I voted electronically, and it's a simple process. You basically get your ballot in the mail. I'm sorry, you get your ballot electronically, emailed to you. There's instructions, there's a cover sheet, and what I have to do was get that printed out in PDF format. I then have to get a ballpoint black or blue pen, fill in my proper oval, and then 2 important steps. One, I need to what's the word I'm thinking of? Scan it and then email it back to my county is Sussex County, New Jersey, Sussex County Board of Elections, which will then send back to me confirmation that they have received my ballot and it was legible. And then number 2, I have to send the hard copy, the actual physical copy I voted on with my hand, with my pen, via airmail back to Sussex County Board of Elections. So I am done. I voted. I voted with a clear conscience, though it wasn't a secret ballot because I waived that right because of the way I voted. I will probably not tell you who I voted for. You've probably guessed already. But I pray that everything goes smoothly, that this whole election moves smoothly and ends up well regardless. All righty. In his statement, Krasner said that his office is continuing to work with his partners in law enforcement and government to ensure every voter gets to vote and that every vote is counted. Krasner said, "Keep your Proud Boys, goon squads, and uncertified poll watchers out of our city. Mr. President, break the law here, and I've got something for you." Krasner's ambiguous threat comes as the city is still reeling from a night of violent protests in which demonstrators clashed with authorities over the police shooting of a 27-year-old black man a day earlier. Police said the man, identified as Walter Wallace Jr., refused to drop his knife as he advanced toward them. Now, I need to say something. The internet had a video that was made by a bystander of this whole episode. And it was disturbing. I normally don't watch this type of thing, but I was just curious what went down to have this much of a reaction, to have police officers shot at and killed. I believe 2 officers were killed. But the gentleman apparently had mental illness, which is understandable. Now, I pray that he was following his medications. I pray that he was getting counseling. But if he was not, he was probably out of control. But that does not constitute being shot to death. The gentleman had a knife, which on the list of deadly weapons is lower than, say, a gun. It's like the ace of spades versus the 3 of clubs. You can't compare the two. The man came around the car, and he's holding the knife, and the 2 officers shot. I couldn't count them. I mean, it was just numerous. There's people that have seen the video from law enforcement saying that it was many as almost 7 shots per officer. I'm sorry. That is just totally unacceptable. I would not want to be put in their position to make a quick decision. Should I have used a taser? Should I have used this? Should I have used that? Hindsight is foresight. The taser probably would have been a better choice. Pepper spray would have worked. Anything else, even a single shot to wound in the leg, to bring him down and get the knife. But as many shots were taken was, I'm sorry, I probably going to get people to disagree with me, but it was way too many. It was way beyond the call of action. And I can see why the black community and white community as well. I mean, I'm upset by what I saw. This is not the America I grew up in. I would hope that the Attorney General takes this case and they get it to the courts as quickly as possible, and that these police officers are interrogated, they're given a fair trial, and with the evidence just being seen already, more than likely found guilty. But in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. Now, is the reactions that are taking place for the past 2 nights, as we go into the 3rd night in the U.S., in Philadelphia, warranted? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's unacceptable. The parents, the family of this gentleman, Walter Wallace Jr., have been crying for peace, peaceful demonstrations, not this reckless looting and violence and running around like I don't even want to say. It's just totally unforgivable. The thing that we need to realize, again, long ago, back in the Obama administration, there was a crazy dude named Rahm Emanuel. And he is quoted as saying, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." Never let a good crisis go to waste. And obviously he was on the was a Democrat, and he was a progressive. And what he was referring to was a perfect example like this. Here we have a poor gentleman who was shot. I don't even want to go into it. He was. It should not have happened, but his people, Rahm Emanuel's people, are taking, and guaranteed there's leaders that are stirring these people up, and more than likely paying them, and more than likely the money is coming from George Soros, maybe not directly, but through other groups that are being sponsored by Soros, and egging these thugs on, men and women, and they should not be doing what they're doing. This is totally unacceptable, and each and every one of them should be prosecuted and given what they deserve to the full extent of the law. And we can do that very easily. I mean, it's these idiots are standing in front of live cameras. They're standing in front of security cameras. And it's easy enough now with facial recognition and other issues to be able to find them and to do what needs to be done. My prayer is that not more people are killed. But all of these looting in Portland, in Detroit, I guarantee you, I would put money on it, and I'm not a betting man. This is being funded to these I'm sorry, loser kids, because they can't find work, and they sleep on mommy and daddy's couch, and they play their video games all day, and they take the money and they do whatever the Soros camp wants them to do. As Rahm Emanuel said, they do not let a good crisis go to waste. Enough said. Krasner alleged that Trump, rather than working with cities and states to improve accountability and efficacy in policing, is seeking instead to throw gasoline on a long-burning fire in order to provoke further unrest and violence ahead of an election he is terrified to lose. And if that's something you want to believe, go right ahead. God is in control. God is in control, and God will win. I have no doubt. And God will take over, and God will bring peace back to the land and heal our land and have man back on his knees before God, the Almighty. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm just really, can you tell I'm ticked off? It's my country. Philadelphia was not far from where I lived in New Jersey. My daughter went to school in Philadelphia. Okay. I didn't cover this yesterday, but it seems to be getting to be a hot story today. Twitter boss defends censorship of Biden scandal in heated hearing. So basically, big tech is on trial. Twitter CEO Dorsey pressed by Cruz, and that's Senator Cruz, on restricting Hunter Biden stories. Who the hell elected you? Texas senator accuses Twitter of having separate standards for content about Trump or Biden. Now, see, here we go again. Just bear with me again. My computer is... Okay. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, ripped into Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey during a hearing with tech titans on Wednesday, accusing him and his social media platform of improperly censoring reporting that reflected poorly on Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, asking at point, "Who the hell elected you?" So, in essence, Jack Dorsey is being accused of not sharing the information about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the laptop and the money and the scandal. They're just brushing over it, as is a majority of the major networks on television and radio and newspapers. The exchange comes as Republicans over the last several weeks have decried Twitter's actions to lock the New York Post's Twitter account and censor links to the outlet's stories on Biden's son, Hunter, and his overseas business dealings, which is what I just said. The New York Post is the one, surprisingly, that released this story about the laptop. So Twitter apparently locked the New York Post's account and censored the links to the outlet stories. Very interesting. Dorsey said this was due to a policy regarding hacked materials because the stories were based on emails from Hunter Biden's purported laptop. Cruz noted that a New York Times article about President Trump's tax returns did not face the same treatment, even though the materials appeared to be leaked illegally. What do you think? Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs? Senator Cruz asked. Dorsey claimed that this was not the case. He also denied. We jumped again here. Bear with me. He also denied that Twitter I'm sorry, folks. Where am I here? Dorsey said this was due to a policy regarding hacked materials because the stories were based on emails from Hunter Biden's purported laptop. Cruz noted that a New York Times article about President Trump's tax returns did not face the same treatment, even though the materials appeared to be leaked illegally. Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs? Cruz asked. Dorsey claimed this was not the case. He also denied that Twitter has the ability to influence elections, a claim that Cruz derided as absurd. You're testifying to this committee right now that Twitter You're testifying to this committee right now that Twitter, when it silences people, when it censors people, when it blocks political speech, that has no impact on elections. People have choice of other communication channels, Dorsey claimed. Not if they don't hear information, Cruz shot back. If you don't think you have the power to influence elections, why do you block anything? Dorsey claimed that his policies are making sure more that voices on the platform are possible, which is done by silencing abuse and harassment. He did admit that the policy under which the Post story was censored was flawed, and that other users should not have blocked from sharing links to it. He claimed that individual users could now share the Post story, but soon after Cruz tweeted that this was still not the case. So we have a big problem. Years ago, there was none of this. It was just newspapers and radio and television. And yeah, you'd have some censorship going on. But this is just rampant abuse of power. And the people that are doing this, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter, whether it be YouTube, whoever, realize the power they have because of the numbers of people they reach. And having a company like this is not a gift. It is a privilege. It is a privilege. And there should be insight as what we're looking at today with Ted Cruz and the rest of the Senate. The exchange came during a Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee hearing, what is known as Section 230 protections that keep social media platforms from being liable for statements made through their services. Dorsey appeared alongside Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Google CEO Sundar Pichai. Later in the hearing, Senator Ron Johnson, a Republican from Texas, challenged Dorsey's claim that Twitter does not influence elections with their policies or actions. He also challenged the company's decision to censor the Post's reporting, as well as Facebook's decision to flag it. So you see, if it's one company with billions of listeners, here we've got three. And I've got to agree with the government here. Big time influence through, what do you call it, censorship. Do either one of you have any evidence that the New York Post story is part of a Russian disinformation, or that those emails aren't authentic? Johnson asked Dorsey and Zuckerberg. We don't, Dorsey said. He then reiterated that they believed it violated their hacking policy, only for Johnson to point out that emails were not hacked. Zuckerberg said that Facebook relied on the FBI's intelligence and alerts they provided that included a warning to be on the lookup for a leak and release of a trove of information. He acknowledged that the alert did not specifically say anything about information in the Post's reporting. Zuckerberg claimed that Facebook did not censor the story, but they did flag it for fast checking and held it back during that process. Lawmakers looking to strip those protections claim that by selectively censoring posts due to their content beyond typical terms of service prohibiting offensive or harassing statements, the tech companies are taking on an active approach akin to a publisher instead of merely providing a platform where individual users post whatever statements they want. Oh, to be a fly in that room yesterday. That three of the biggest social networking platforms. Yeah, wow. I have to laugh, and I should not judge, but I'm looking at a picture of the gentleman from uh, Twitter, and the guy his hair is all messed up. His nose ring is quite prominent, and he's got a beard that he looks like ZZ Top. Enough said. I want to let you know also, we've got lots of stories from different polling organizations and people who think they know it all. And after the election with Donald Trump winning and beating Hillary Clinton in 2016, I don't read them anymore. I don't read them anymore. I don't need them anymore. These guys, at their own admission, I forgot the gentleman's name, but he miscalled the election in 2016. He basically said in another story that if he's wrong again this time, that's it. He says this industry has had it. There is just no more, no way that you can predict, and that's my feeling. Who's in control? Not the pollsters, not the candidates, the people. Yeah, but God is in control. Period. The end. All right. Touching on another story from yesterday. Don't ask, don't tell. Reporters failed to question Biden about Tony, here we go, wait for it, Babalinsky. Babalui. Tony Babalinsky. Explosive claims in rare round of questions. So reporters failed to ask Joe Biden about Tony Babalinsky's explosive claims in rare round of questions. So basically, this should not be a surprise because the mainstream media, as they're called, I think I'm going to start calling it the downstream media, are kid gloves with Joe Biden. They don't want anything to stop this guy from getting elected. So here we go. Joe Biden took questions from reporters on Wednesday for the first time since Tucker Carlson's interview with Tony Babalinsky, which we shared yesterday. A former business associate of Hunter Biden, who said the Biden family dismissed concerns that the Democratic nominee's alleged ties to his son's business deals could put a presidential campaign at risk. So obviously, the Bidens didn't seem overly concerned about this, even at Babalinsky's concerns. But the media members on hand didn't bother to ask about that. Surprise, surprise. Biden briefly faced reporters after voting in Wilmington, Delaware, less than 24 hours after Babalinsky, a retired lieutenant in the U.S. Navy, raised concerns in 2017 to the former vice president's brother, Jim Biden, about Joe Biden's alleged ties to a possible joint venture with a Chinese energy firm. Okay. Reporters ignored the bombshell allegations, instead asking the Democratic presidential nominee about... We just got bopped here. Sorry about that. Reporters ignored the bombshell allegations, instead asking the Democratic presidential nominee about ongoing looting and unrest in Philadelphia and the Affordable Care Act before he hurried off into a waiting black SUV where he was safe in his cocoon and did not have to address to the public major concerns. Those are my words. That's not from the story. What we saw there was another failure by the news media to ask Joe Biden about Hunter Biden and whether or not he will admit that he lied to the American people about his son's foreign business dealings. Trump 2020 campaign spokesman Erin Perrine said on Outnumbered Overtime, which is a Fox show. Good show if you haven't watched it before. This is a story the media refuses to cover, even when they have the candidate there taking questions. Would you answer the question? They didn't ask that. And that should worry the American people because they are our bear with me again. I'm sorry. There has been a near blackout of coverage of Bobulinski's shocking claims. Near blackout. Now, you've heard the story. You've heard it directly from him. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. This is crime. But yet, Joe Biden thinks he's above that. And, well, Bobulinski's comments to Carlson, and that's Tucker Carlson, were completely ignored by CNN and MSNBC. Again, those words, completely ignored. Through noon Eastern time, roughly 16 hours after the start of the damning interview. The New York Times and the Washington Post didn't cover the allegation in Wednesday's paper either. Reporters were also criticized on Monday for their choice of questions when Biden was available. Satan is spinning me here again. In the name of Jesus Christ, Satan, you have no authority. Be gone, be gone, be gone. Satan, as for this studio, we serve the Lord. Reporters were criticized on Monday for the choice of questions when Biden was available. President Trump has repeatedly mocked the media for asking the former vice president what flavor he got during a recent visit to an ice cream parlor instead of asking any questions about the growing Hunter Biden controversy. Last month, reporters were similarly blasted for questions that they asked at a lengthier press conference, which offered very little grilling of Biden. And they're going to track this guy down. They're going to track this guy down. It may not be till after the election, but if he gets elected as president, this would be grounds for impeachment. This would not be anything made up like they put Trump through. All right, let's quickly look at the headlines from ABS-CBN here in the Philippines. And hopefully this gives me a little bit more understanding. Okay. We have a new low pressure area spotted off of Mindanao. Where are we? It's not helping me. There we go. New low pressure area spotted off Mindanao as tropical depression nears the Philippines area of responsibility. Thank you, Tito. Tito's my buddy. And that is just showing you an example. These storms, they just literally line up across the Pacific Ocean because there's nothing there but ocean. And it's like a conga line. Beginning of the season starts and they all line up and okay, it's going to hit the Philippines, going to hit Japan, going to hit Vietnam, going to hit Laos. It's scary. But Philippines has been very, very graced and blessed and the area where I'm in is fairly well protected. So I'm very, very thankful for that. 8 PhilHealth execs suspended, folks, for 6 months over reimbursement funds mess. So it looks like they finally got to the bottom of it, and it looks like they're starting that cleanup process. So 8 PhilHealth execs suspended for 6 months over reimbursement funds mess. Like the U.S., there's good people and there's bad people. Lacson questions exemption of Duterte allies from corruption investigations. Lacson questions exemption of Duterte allies from corruption investigations. And I just want to hit on that real quick here. If I get to Tagalog and I'm mispronouncing, just feel free to let me know. Senator Panafilo Lacson on Wednesday questioned President Rodrigo Duterte's renewed push against corruption, noting that the chief executive has automatically exempted some of his allies from wrongdoing. While Duterte announced the creation of a mega corruption task force, the president also said the Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and Public Works Secretary Mark Villar were not involved in corrupt deeds in their respective agencies. In the same message, Mayroon na agad exceptions. There are already exceptions, Lacson said in an online press conference. I'm going to stop there because a lot of it there is in Tagalog. But it sounds like President Duterte is denying and standing by that fact that his people are not corrupt. And we'll have to follow that and see where that's going to go. Okay. I'm here. The DFA. Tito, what's the DFA? Department of Foreign Affairs, Tito says. DFA says severe response awaits Philippine envoy over AIDS abuse. President's okay on probe sought. And that one gets into a lot of Tagalog. I'm sorry, folks. I need to learn more Tagalog. Tagalog. Thank you, Tito. Tito's wonderful, isn't he? Here, I teach you. Kanan, kaliwa. Right, left. Salamat. Thank you. What? Taas. Baba. Taas, baba. Kanan, kaliwa. Okay, enough. Thank you, Tito. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we got one more. And this is about an antibody treatment. Regeneron says its COVID-19 antibody treatment cut medical visits in trial. Interesting. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals Incorporated said on Wednesday its coronavirus antibody cocktail, the experimental treatment that U.S. President Donald Trump received, significantly reduced medical visits in a trial of nearly 800 patients with mild to moderate COVID-19. Regeneron said patients given the treatment, Regen-CoV-2, made around 57% fewer COVID-19 related medical visits than those given a placebo over a 29-day period. The drop was around 72% in patients with one or more risk factors, such as being over age 50, obesity, cardiovascular, metabolic, lung, liver, or kidney disease, or an immunocompromised status. Last month, the company released early data from the trial showing the treatment reduced viral levels and improved symptoms in non-hospitalized COVID-19 patients. The new data confirmed the initial findings, the company said. Regeneron's drug is a cocktail of two monoclonal antibodies, manufactured copies of antibodies that are one of the main weapons the immune system generates to fight infections. Trump has credited the Regeneron therapy for his recovery from COVID-19 and said he would push for the emergency use authorization of that treatment and others like it. He also said he wanted it to be provided at no cost to Americans. The company earlier this month filed with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration seeking an EUA for the dual antibody therapy. It said it has shared the new data with the regulator as part of the review of its request. Eli Lilly and Company makes a similar drug and also filed for a EUA. The company signed a $375 million contract to provide 300,000 doses of its treatment to the U.S. government on Wednesday. Regeneron said earlier this month that it announced 50,000 doses of its treatment ready for distribution. The U.S. government agreed in June to buy up 300,000 of the antibody cocktail for $450 million. So it looks like we're making some progress in the battle against COVID-19. Anyway, it looks like we're almost out of time. I want to see if I have a chance here. We may be able to. Bear with me. Nope, not going to have time. I wanted to share a joke, but no time. So regardless, I want to say thank you so much for being with us. Please, please, please share with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your enemies, whoever. We're looking to grow our listening family here, and we hope that you enjoyed your stay. Again, please feel free to write us at any time at Lion of Judah Radio at kroar.org, or reach us at KROAR Radio on Twitter. And with much sadness, it is time to say goodbye. So let us say till next time. And as we always say, oh wait, what? You want to say goodbye? Okay. What do we have to do to say goodbye to everybody? Do you remember? We say, thank you and Godspeed until we meet again. That's right. That's little Tito, folks. God bless you all. You have a great day or evening, and we will see you tomorrow. God bless. I think you forgot to push the button. Yeah, I'm trying to push the button. Oh, you need to push the button way up there. I know where to push the button. Are you stopping? What? Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you too. Okay, I see the button. Now push the button. Why? I'm going to push the button now.